The biggest mind game that the APC has tried to play on Nigerians is the saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is unbeatable in 2027. They are trying to psych the mind of Nigerians to believe that nobody can defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. But Tinubu is the most scared incumbent I've ever seen. We have experienced several incumbents contest election in this country, but we have never seen anyone as scared as Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is called a master strategist, but ever since the election was done and dusted and he was inaugurated in May 2023, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been in campaign mode. He's been playing politics rather than actual governance. One major thing that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has focused his attention so far is the destabilization of the opposition. Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to contest the 2027 presidential election unopposed. He wants to be the only one on the ballot. He doesn't want anyone to challenge his incumbency. He doesn't want anyone to contest against him. And the reason for all of this is because he understands that he did not win the 2023 presidential election and that he is very, very unpopular. The unpopularity of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his bad administration led to the formation of the ADC-led coalition. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not see the ADC-led coalition coming. They all thought it was going to be a joke. But the ADC coalition seems to be gathering some momentum, and the government is after the ADC-led coalition to try to destabilize the ADC-led coalition. You saw the former presidential candidate of the ADC, Dumebi Kachukwu, going on air to discredit whatever they are doing in the ADC, and he has equally taken ADC to court. But by law, Dumebi Kachukwu is not a member of the ADC because he was expelled even before the 2027 presidential election. And for the fact that his name has already been submitted to INEC, INEC could not remove his name and allow him to contest the election. Now this is the same person that is trying to destabilize the ADC, but they've called out his bluff. Nobody's even listening to him. Now what the president is doing is going after members of the ADC-led coalition. One of such members is the former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. 3 days ago, Aminu Tambuwal was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) in Abuja, and he was quizzed over 189 billion naira fraud. Tambuwal was detained by the EFCC for one night and he was released on administrative bail. Aminu Tambuwal described his arrest by the EFCC as a form of intimidation and blackmail, and he vowed that he is not going to cow to their blackmail and intimidation. He equally vowed not to join the APC. Now the reason for making this statement is because once you join the APC, your sins will be forgiven. I am not making a case for Aminu Tambuwal, neither will I make a case for any corrupt politician in this country. As a matter of fact, I believe that every corrupt politician in this country should be behind bars. They should be arrested. But what I am against is selective arrest, selective prosecution, and that is what APC is using EFCC to do. Aminu Tambuwal is not the only corrupt politician in Nigeria. He's not the only former governor that is corrupt. There are many former governors working with the APC administration that are yet to be called or quizzed or even arrested or detained. The only former governors that we have seen the EFCC go after are those of the opposition and those that are seen as a threat to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or people that are posing an obstacle to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For instance, the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. Yahaya Bello posed a threat to Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the APC primaries in 2023. And of course, the EFCC has gone after him. He has been arrested and taken to court, but he is yet to be jailed. We equally saw what the Kaduna State House of Assembly tried to do with El-Rufai because he fell out with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I mean, El-Rufai is one of those that are pushing for the ADC-led coalition. Let's not forget the famous one, the former governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, that was alleged to have embezzled 3 trillion naira of Delta State money. The EFCC declared him wanted, but he was never arrested nor invited for questions. Few weeks after he was declared wanted by the EFCC, Ifeanyi Okowa decamped to the APC. Not only did he decamp to the APC, the entire structure of the PDP in Delta State decamped with him to the APC. Since Ifeanyi Okowa crossed carpet to the APC, we have never heard anything regarding the 3 trillion naira that he was declared wanted by the EFCC. What happened to that case? What happened to other governors that are serving in the APC? Why isn't the EFCC going after them? The reason is not far-fetched. EFCC is not even concerned about fighting corruption. If they truly want to fight corruption, the people working with Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be the first people that should have been quizzed or prosecuted for corrupt practices. But it's obvious that all they want to do is go after perceived opponents and enemies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. People that are perceived will pose a threat to Bola Ahmed Tinubu re-election in 2027. And why is Aminu Tambuwal a target? Recall, it is being speculated that Aminu Tambuwal is being touted as the vice presidential candidate to Mr. Peter Obi if Peter Obi secured the ADC party ticket. That is, if Atiku Abubakar decides to support Mr. Peter Obi. During Peter Obi's birthday, Tambuwal's birthday message to Mr. Peter Obi shows that he is the ideal selected candidate for Mr. Peter Obi vice president, or that he wants Mr. Peter Obi to select him as a vice president. If the ADC should grant Mr. Peter Obi the presidential ticket and Peter Obi is being paired with a northerner from the northwest, it is going to be an easy and sweet victory for Mr. Peter Obi against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has seen the threat coming already, so he has started tracking down members of the ADC coalition, starting with Aminu Tambuwal. The arrest of Aminu Tambuwal is a clear signal that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not done yet with destabilizing political parties ahead of the 2027 presidential election. You are all conversant with what is happening in Labour Party. Since the last election was done and dusted, Labour Party has been embroiled with political crisis, internal conflict that has set the party back. This has affected the party participation in the off-cycle elections. There have been a struggle by Mr. Peter Obi, the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, to regain the structure of the Labour Party, and it has been in court. The Supreme Court has given a judgment sacking Julius Abure. It was left for INEC to de-recognize Julius Abure and recognize Nenadi Usman-led caretaker committee as the interim leadership of the Labour Party. Now, INEC has finally recognized Nenadi Usman as the chairperson of the Labour Party. So Labour Party is free of any political crisis, and that has given Mr. Peter Obi access to the party structure and also make Mr. Peter Obi the ideal candidate for the Labour Party in 2027 presidential election. Of course, you are equally aware with what is happening with the PDP. Nyesom Wike, an astute member of the PDP, is working for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has instigated crisis in that party since the last election was done and dusted. PDP is shaky ahead of the 2027 presidential election, even though they want Peter Obi to come back to the party and contest as their presidential candidate. But with the presence of Nyesom Wike, that dream is a far-fetched one. And there is an ADC-led coalition which many Nigerians view as an alternate party, sequel to what happened in 2015 with the formation of APC, that would displace and hoist Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Like I mentioned earlier, some party members in that party has been trying to instigate leadership crisis in that party. Now that is not forthcoming. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now unleashing the instrumentality of state like the EFCC on the ADC-led coalition to arrest the big wigs in that party and prosecute them for corruption. I am not saying that Aminu Tambuwal is not corrupt, and I'm not saying he did not embezzle money, because I know as a Nigerian politician, he would definitely do something like that. Allegedly, that's left for the court to decide. But what I am saying is that the arrest of Aminu Tambuwal is a political winch hunt game. And this all reveals something. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is scared of losing the 2027 presidential election. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has spent 2 years in office playing politics. While he was busy playing politics, he abandoned actual governance. From having members of the opposition politicians to decant the APC and endorse him for 2027, to destabilizing political parties in Nigeria. All of this shows that he is not sure of winning the 2027 presidential election. Of course, he knows that he did not win the 2023 presidential election. Tinubu is the only president in Nigeria that has won an election as an unpopular candidate. When you combine the votes of the second and the third place, that is Atiku and Peter Obi's vote, they far supersede the vote gotten by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This has never been done or heard in the history of this country before. But he was given an opportunity to rule. All Bola Ahmed Tinubu needed to do was to address the challenges he met on ground, fix some of the policies of President Muhammadu Buhari, and give Nigerians succor. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu went ahead to do the reverse. His government is the worst. Worse than what we experienced under President Muhammadu Buhari. His policies are unpopular. heaping more pains, misery, hunger, poverty, starvation, inflation on ordinary Nigerians. Just 1 year into office, Nigerians storm the streets and protest against the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The target end bad government protests. It was so worse that Nigerians could not take it any longer. This is the first time in the dawn of democracy that Nigerians are protesting against their president that has just been 1 year in office. The public outcry and resentment towards Bola Ahmed Tinubu is so huge, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that he is not popular among Nigerians. He knows that Nigerians will not vote for him in 2027. After all, they did not vote for him in 2023. And the only way he thinks he can come back in 2027 is to ensure that he destabilizes all the opposition political parties in this country. Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to make Nigeria a one-party state. He wants to contest the 2027 presidential election unopposed. He doesn't want his biggest challenger, Mr. Peter Obi, to contest against him. This man, Peter Obi, defeated him in the 2023 presidential election. Not only was he defeated, he was humiliated in Lagos State, where he ruled as a governor for 8 years. The whole talk of Bola Ahmed Tinubu being a political genius and master strategist have all been demystified. It was demystified in the 2023 presidential election. Tinubu understands that the disgrace and embarrassment that await him in 2027 is going to be monumental. So he's trying to do everything possible to destabilize the country political parties and ensure that he's the only one that contests unopposed. Instigate crisis in the political parties. Go after opposition politicians using the EFCC. That is his game plan. But I'm so happy that Mr. Peter Obi is an untainted politician. Imagine if Mr. Peter Obi has a corruption case with him. Imagine what Bola Ahmed Tinubu would have used EFCC and other security agents to do to him. But there is no hiding place for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nigerians are tired of his government. And there is nothing that he will do that will save him from the defeat that awaits him in 2027. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.